This is Smithy.tv.
Hello, this is Kenny Robinson. You're watching Breaking Down the News. Thanks for coming back. And if it's your first time here, you've been missing a lot of good stuff. And I'm sitting here with my special guest today as my partner in crime, my Thelma to his Louise.
Yes, I think that sums it up very nicely.
Eventually, we just take a convertible over
Right
the
over,
side,
yeah.
over the edge of the cliff. And it goes by the alias of Little Man Hate.
Yes?
But folks on the road may know us as Rank and Vile. Mr. Darren Frost, thanks for coming in, Darren.
Well, it took a while, but I'm glad to be here.
Well, I know there's no parking down here. Maybe you should have took a cab.
It's not even so much the park. Is there any cabs left? I think they're all at City Hall protesting, aren't they?
What, they want Rob Ford to come back?
Yeah, they got a big float ready for Rob Ford. It's going to be 8 taxis on top of each other, and a KFC fucking bucket behind him. And he's
Well, you
gonna
used to
jump out
order
of
in
it.
KFC and crack delivered to the house. So
Well, the whole Uber, taxi thing. I don't know where you stand on it. I kind of look at it as, taxi cabs are Vic 20s and Uber is Twitter. It's like it's. Cabs, I understand they have to play by different rules than Uber, and I understand that they have to pay money, and maybe Uber should have to pay some money as well to make it a more even playing field. But when you're shutting down traffic to protest, you're really just hurting not only the end users, the people who want to use your cabs because they can't take them.
well, they're hurting themselves because they're not making that money.
They're hurting themselves, and they're hurting other traffic. Like Toronto already needs another traffic problem in the downtown core.
Well, then I guess we better infect our bylaws, huh?
Well, I just think if you can't get a cab, just get a baseball bat and smash one up. Because if you can't get home, they can't get home.
I don't know if that's necessarily the response, but do you know what we really need now? A TTC strike to go on at the same time as the cabbies are acting up.
Sure.
Then you know what? I will be Uber. Well, see but Uber's nothing really new. I mean, it's a new thing, but back in Chicago, and I guess in every American ghetto city, they have them in New York.
Right.
They called them jitneys back in the day. In New York, they call them gypsies, and they'd just be like privately owned cars, and they would stop where the buses stopped. And people would pay a little bit more than a bus, but not as much as a cab. And you told them what corner you want to go to.
Yeah.
And these cabs would just go up and down. And my mom told me the great story of the first time she rode a jitney in Chicago. She thought she just flagged a cab.
Right.
And then when he stopped at the next, she was like, "Why is he letting all these motherfuckers in my car?" And then the next one, and then they're like, "This white lady thinks this car only for her." So it could have gone really ugly. And fortunately, it's back in the 50s when things didn't go as ugly as they could.
Right.
Wouldn't have want that to happen about 1968.
Yeah.
But, so, and then when I was in New Jersey in Hoboken trying to get to New York City, I was glad when that gypsy cab came.
Well, yeah.
But they kept looking at me because I kept calling it jitney. And they're like, "It's a gypsy." And I said, "Well, in Chicago, it's a jitney."
Right.
So I kind of like the return of the jitney cab, sort of.
Well, I mean, it's about choice, and if anyone that's not against choice, I don't know. Like I said, there is more to it than just a basic. It's like, hey, it's choice.
We have to get the pro-abortionist groups to support Uber.
That's it.
Because it's all about choice.
One-stop shop.
That's it.
They'll take you right there, drop you off,
Wait for you,
and then drive you home because you can't walk properly. Yeah.
Actually, come back and get you as he circles for his
Yeah.
second round.
And then pop the trunk and after you get out, you get a coat hanger souvenir. I was.
And then he stops up at the hospital and lets out somebody who just had a baby. They can put the two of them together, and then the woman can have regrets as she starts weeping.
There we go.
This is lovely, huh?
And and put little cameras in it. It could be a New York taxi cab confessional.
This is the most sensitive episode we've ever had, isn't it, folks?
Yeah.
But actually, I saw something funny outside of City Hall. The cab drivers are all honking.
Yeah.
And then I see one cab jump out, and he starts yelling at the cab in front of him, and the guy's going, eh. So I look, and the cab in front of him had popped his trunk, and some guy had just put 2 suitcases in.
Right.
And the guy's going, "Hey, fine for all this solidarity, but this motherfucker's going to the airport. I'm making $60 plus a tip on this one.
Yeah.
And he's going to pay me whatever I ask because the rest of you guys are respecting the boycott."
Right.
And I said, well, don't get mad at him because he didn't call Uber. So I think what they have to do is, I think the cab drivers, they have to fight dirty with dirty.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what it's going to come down to.
They just need to have a bunch of women sexually assaulted by Uber drivers.
Or at least portray it that way.
Or make, because that was one of the big things the other day. Now they're saying the Uber drivers have one woman or a couple of women have said they've been sexually assaulted by it.
Yes.
And the headline is Ubers, so then right away you go, wow, it's not as safe as a regular cab.
Right. And, there's no numbers anywhere. It's not like a cab when you have a bad experience with a cab. Like, I had a bad experience. I called. I, read the side of the cab. I got the 751 number as his cab is. I called them. They dealt with it right away. So, yeah, and I think I even got my money back, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, there is a level of professionalism that cabs have that Uber doesn't. I mean, that's just...
Or what I do, anytime over the years, when I put a drunk lady in a cab, I say to the cab driver, I know your number. And then I always say, call me when you get home.
Right.
But that's just 3 things.
Yeah, that's more street smart than anything.
That's being chivalrous.
Yeah.
And that's being a prick to a cab, because I know the woman's going to throw up in his cab soon. And, you better not be rude to her.
Yeah.
And she can, Kelly, I don't want to go home. You're going home. And then also, what a charming fellow I am. So
all we need to do is get a cab to drive Screech when he goes to jail and wait there, an Uber guy, and then when he gets out, take him home, and then Screech can pay that bill.
I don't know. I'm kind of. It's been a long time since the stand-up comics stabbed anybody. Not since Fatty Arbuckle, I think.
Well, I mean, first of all, I've had my issues with Screech. Dustin Diamond is his real name, and I hope his
what a great name, Dustin Diamond.
Well, I hope his asshole is as strong as his last name when he goes to jail. That's all I'm saying.
I think he's going to probably learn how to. Well, he's going to get a shank his first day there. Going to be some guy that looks like the Big Green Mile, because I used to love you on TV, and then hand him a homemade shank, and Screech will be scratching.
Diamonds are a cellmate's best bitch, is what I say. He's gonna be screaming that. I'm not a fan of Dustin Diamond. There's not a single point of his career that has any kind of redemptive quality to it. He's a douchebag. He rips his fans off. He, got into financial trouble, asked his fans to pay for him to save his house. It's like most people who have worked a 9-to-5 job, haven't made the money you have, and you've burned through it. Fuck you. Suck it up, bitch, and go and work. And if you have to work at a 7-Eleven, then go work at a 7-Eleven. How dare you ask your fans to buy a T-shirt or go make a shitty porn to buy your way through life?
Well, equivalent for him would having to go work the clubs.
Well, you know what?
7-Eleven is a club for a guy that was on a TV show.
I worked with him in the clubs, and he wasn't a very nice person. I had an altercation with him. Obviously, that's why I'm kind of slanted towards I'm a negative Dustin Diamond guy. But I just saw him ripping off his fans, like selling photocopies of his scripts for $20 each, shit like that, and people paying it. I understand the market.
But they would have done that at a Comic Con too, though.
Yeah, but there's something just creepy about him.
Yeah.
And just not cool. And him slagging female comics. And,
so you're saying he's no Skippy?
No, look, I interviewed Steve-O when I had a radio show on XM, and he was very cool about the whole idea of doing stand-up to make money. He's like, look, I respect it. I'm not a stand-up comic. I'm just trying to be funny and respect the art form and make some money. I'm cool with that. Dustin Diamond wasn't that way. He was acting like he was a comic.
Where would you squeeze Danny Bonaducci?
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
Because he was funny.
Yeah, sure.
They
all can be funny, but don't think that it's easy to do stand-up comedy, and just because you have the crowd there based on your name. Like, I made a joke to Mark Breslin when I first went there. The room was packed. 400 people in there for 2 shows, and there was like 30 people crying on the outside. And I said to
a lot
Mark,
of soft drinks.
Lots of pop. And I said to Mark, I go, oh man, Mark, did you see the 30 people crying outside because they couldn't get in? And Mark was like, oh yeah. And I'm like, yeah, like the 300 leaving this place after the show. It's like, Darren, don't go near Screech, Darren. But I'm like, he that kind of fame buys you 10 minutes on stage. You've seen it, I've seen it. And you either have the goods or you don't. It's like Howie Mandel. He can go on stage and people get excited for 10 minutes, but then Howie knows he's got to start throwing gold or they're just going to shut down. And that's what happened with Dustin Diamond.
I was there at Yucks a couple times when Caitlin came in.
Sure.
And I was going to let him live in my basement. Because I
needed somebody to kill your ex-wife?
I needed somebody to say I went to McDonald's and brought him back a Big Mac is what I needed, So I guess that, they say patriotism is the last refuge for scoundrels, and it sounds like stand-up is the last refuge for.
He lied to the cops. If you know the story, what happened, he was at a bar. I'm going by media reports, so I don't know if this is 100% true. But he went to the bar. He had an altercation with a group of people. His girlfriend slapped or pushed someone, another woman, and the group kind of approached them, and he pulled out a knife and started swinging it around. Now, he stabbed someone in the melee, and then afterwards he left. The cops confront him. And the guy talking to the cops doesn't even know he's been stabbed. Like, he realizes while talking to the cops he's been stabbed. That's why it got escalated. So they went and talked to Screech. He lied to the cops. He said he never had a knife. He said he had a pen.
Yes, you're supposed to. When you stab someone, you're supposed to say, I didn't do it.
Sure, but then when you get caught in your lie, you can't expect to get leniency.
No, but you keep lying.
You can't expect to get... Once you're caught in the lie... You can't expect to have leniency.
But you ain't getting leniency if you say, yes, I did.
Yes, you will.
No, that's a lie.
You can then spin it was self-defense. No, I felt threatened.
That's a lie they tell people.
You can't say, I didn't know. Well, I thought it was a pen. I thought it was a red ink pen.
You know, like, don't you ever watch like First 48 or any of these cop shows, and they always act like guys, I want a lawyer. All right, well then we're gonna book you, motherfucker. You were about to book me. Thing is, now you ain't gonna get nothing to convict me with now. You know, so.
But then he should have said that. He should have said, "I want a lawyer." He should not have said. He should not have lied to the cops. The second you lie to the cops and the story comes out not true, you deserve a harsher penalty than if you came clean from the top.
You gotta lie. You're supposed to.
Well, maybe we live in different worlds. I don't know.
That's what straight up G's do. You don't confess.
Now, okay, wait. Dustin Diamond's a straight up G. Oh man, that's an episode of Saved by the Bell I missed.
He's pulling a knife and cutting motherfuckers.
Shit, yeah,
that's a straight up G.
Oh fuck, he's Omar on that set. Is that what it is?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Dustin Diamond's Omar.
Hey, you ain't gonna have Seinfeld cut nobody.
Well, maybe Michael Richards. Maybe Michael Richards.
No, Michael Richards used to get cut for using the wrong word.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, Pryor shoot up a car. Well, actually, Pryor stabbed a white soldier in Germany when, for the guy who was throwing the N-word around, and that led to Pryor being kind of kicked out of the military.
Right.
So,
And there's, the famous story of Otto and George, the puppet act, dirty puppet act. He's unfortunately passed away, but if you can ever go on YouTube, check him out, Otto and George. There's a famous story of him performing somewhere, and a guy in the crowd just hated the puppet.
Yeah.
Like, hated George, right? And so he gets up and he just says to Otto, the human, I hate to say it like this, you're funny, but you're like a motherfucker, and then stabbed the puppet, not realizing by stabbing the puppet, he stabs the guy's hand. And he's like, ow, you fucking stabbed my hand, And then, it's like, people just, pulled guns on the puppet. It's like...
I always want to stab Rusty on the Friendly
Giant. Yeah.
I always want to stab
Cut
him.
that throat and drain it, yeah.
And Jerome, I didn't have much like for... Jerome had that long neck. Just
yeah.
Like some kids watch children's TV shows differently.
Well, look, like I said, I just think he deserves to go to jail now, and maybe he'll come out humble.
And
if he doesn't come out humble, maybe the Iron Sheik will make him humble. That's what I'm hoping.
I kind of wish Robert Blake was making a movie again.
Well,
he was a fine actor, and you can take that to the bank.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Celebrities committing crimes, huh?
That's the next reality show.
Well, it's already is.
Celebrity Jail. Celebrity Jail's gonna come. It's gonna have fucking Dustin Diamond in it.
The guy that was with the Patriots, Hernandez, that just got convicted of the murder thing, and there's still another murder charge up on him.
Yeah.
Apparently, the guy's only been in jail. He's got the rest of his life to be in jail. He's only been there 2 weeks, and already he was standing outside a cell watching guard while some guys were beating a guy in another cell.
Yeah.
So, I guess as soon as you get in there, you better hook up with whatever gang affiliates you got.
Yeah. Right.
And if it's race, you better decide. Well, I played with black people on my team, but here I got to ride with my fellow Hispanics. You know. So, but right away, he's only in the joint 2 weeks, and he's already involved in in some violence.
Well, I think Celebrity Jail should like Phil Spector, Dustin Diamond, this guy. Put him on a fucking an island and.
How tough is fucking prison for Phil Spector?
Well, you think the Ronettes screamed?
Oh, I mean, he was known for the wall of sound.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that sound coming from the cell every time he goes for a shower?
Well, he's screaming through a pillow, I'm sure.
Oh, I don't think probably just has his mouth stuffed with wigs. I can't imagine it's very good.
I mean, he's always been fucked up. There's stories of the Ramones getting a gun pulled on them. I mean, he's been wrong for a long time.
Yeah, he didn't let Ronnie Burnett leave the house for like 3 years.
Yeah. I mean,
and he was such a badass.
He makes fucking Ike Turner look like Gandhi.
Well, he convinced Tina to record Mountain High, Valley Low or River Deep without Ike.
Right.
Okay, so he was able to basically, for artistic purposes, he punked off Ike Turner.
Right.
Paid him off, so don't even come to the thing. Yes, we'll put your name on the record, and then made Tina sing like Ike never could get out of her.
Right.
So nobody even had that idea that they say still waters run deep.
Gun talks, bullshit walks.
That's it, So, in case you folks are sitting there, we like to say that that our opinions do not reflect anybody else's or any really deep thought to the subject. Um, and by no way are we encouraging any of our celebrity friends that may be watching to commit horrendous crimes. And if we do have any celebrities that are watching our show, please drop the name. I'm Kenny Robinson. This is Breaking Down the News. My special guest, Darren Frost. You can see him at the Yuck Yucks Comedy Club in Toronto this week. I say this week because this is the week that this show will air. And if you watch it next week, well, then you missed it.
Well, then you can download my comedy box set at comedyhorrorstore.com. 25 hours of all my comedy online.
Yes, so for you people that just are making crystal meth and you don't have any, and you know it's not going to burn, it's not going to blow up the house, 25 hours of the crystal meth of comedy. Anyway, Kenny Robinson, breaking down the news. Thanks for coming in. Check you later.